Welcome back to Kids Planning. I'm Daniel. This is Allison.
And today we are going to talk about our favorite go-to date night games.
Yes, and date night game, the way we define that, it's not necessarily exclusively two-player, and
Right.
this isn't a right now and for the past year, date nights have been at home, not out. So these aren't necessarily like coffee shop games. A couple of them have a little bit bigger footprint. These are just games that these are our go-to games right now for two-player games that we really enjoy playing at two players. They're not all exclusively two players. They're just games that we really enjoy playing together.
And we say date night, we are saying night, but one of our favorite times to play games is in the morning with a cup of coffee to start our day. If you followed us on Instagram or really anywhere, you know that our first game, which is games, not a surprise, is Railroad Inc. Our first one we got was the blue, then we got the red, and then we just got these two in 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And show
the whole thing?
Yes, let them see the wonder.
Yes. The wonder that is Railroad Inc. We really love this game.
Yes, this game is, again, this is probably our number one go-to two-player game.
Yeah.
Yes, the second game is a close second and might, depending on the day, beat this
Trump
out.
This one,
yes,
yeah.
But,
just depending on the day in the morning.
But Railroad Inc., if you haven't played it, it's a roll and write where you are trying to complete roads and railroads on your little dry erase map. You're a very terrible city planner that's making nonsensical road decisions.
Yes. The base game is fun, and the base game you can play with any of these. What the colors add is the different expansions. So with the blue, you've got your rivers and lakes. The red is volcano and meteors. Asteroids. The green, which is my personal favorite because green is best, and plus I just really like this, is trails and trees. Is that what they're called?
It's the bike paths.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the trails and then trees.
And then the yellow is fun, too. That's the sun, or the cactus.
Yeah, the cactus.
And then the cliffs.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And, again, all of these, if you don't play with those expansions, it's just roads and railroads. It's a quick game. It plays, could play really fast in 15 to 20 minutes. Another thing that we left out for our criteria. Our criteria for a date game is that you can talk through it because it's not like no one wants to go on a date and just stare at a piece of paper the whole time. So we have our moments where we play those longer, more in-depth games, but being able to talk through a game, being able to kind of take a break in between rounds and just have a conversation is really important to us.
Like, we have a lot of games that we love playing still at two-player, but I wouldn't necessarily consider those a date night game. It's just an experience because we are very focused and it is not a conversational game.
Right.
Railroad Inc. and the other games that we're featuring today are definitely games that allow conversation while you're playing.
Like, we played Hadrian's Wall a few days ago, and I think the only thing said that we said to each other, was, "Are you done? You ready for the next turn?" Like, That's not a great date night game. It's a fantastic game. Not a great date night game.
Okay, so the next one.
Number 2.
Again, is more than one game, but it's this
the clever games.
The clever games.
We have Gajan Clever, which is that's pretty clever, and then Doppelt So Clever. Sorry.
Twice as clever.
Sorry to Germany. These are
from Stronghold.
Yes. We like roll and writes.
Yes, we do love roll and writes. We didn't discover this until actually Railroad Inc.
Railroad Inc. was
really
the first one.
Introduced us to what roll and write, and we were like, "What is this?
Why did we wait so long to get Railroad Inc.?"
That's pretty cool. Something that is just unique to Daniel and I. Every year for our anniversary, we always get lottery tickets.
Or anytime we go to Missouri for vacation a lot because it's north of us in Arkansas.
So we have a specific gas station that we get our lottery tickets at. It's just kind of our thing. Something that I loved about That's Pretty Clever and Twice as Clever is it feels like you're filling out a lottery ticket, which we don't do that like all the time. It's a very special event for us.
Whenever we go to Missouri.
Whenever we pass this certain gas station, it just holds, I don't know, it has a special place for me. And so that's what I love about this. It's very thinky and you can switch up your strategy.
It's small enough. I'll take it out.
You're going to take it out?
Yeah. So you have 6 dice that you're rolling and you're trying to fill out this card. They both have similar cards. This one is the Twice as Clever. It has more options, but you're trying to roll the dice and use the numbers on the dice to satisfy conditions, to fill up the cards, to get the most points.
Colors mean different things,
Yeah.
and you also now the reason we prefer this at 2-player is I think, and I think a lot of people actually prefer this at a 2-player because it's very back and forth. Now, when you're playing with multiple players, you're rolling the dice, putting them on the dish, the ones you don't use, and then those players get to choose from that. There's a little bit more downtime involved, which allows for more conversation. But there is more waiting involved because other people have to decide what they're going to be doing. And if you have, what is it, AP or PA? Analysis paralysis, AP. Okay. I was like, what's the word? If you have analysis paralysis, which means that you're looking at it as like, I don't know what to do. For a game like this, that does allow, because it's like the different options affect different things. So if there's a lot of people at the table doing that, then it can take a little bit longer. So we really love this at a 2-player.
Yep. And something great about these is there's not a lot of momentum in the games. So if we, which will happen very often, is in between rounds, we just start a conversation. We're talking, we're doing that. As long as we remember what round we're on, it's easy to step away from, come back to in the midst of that kind of, that conversation. And
on these sheets, there is a tally where you can, we always mark off what round we're on so that we can have that conversation.
Yeah. So they're very thinky. They require a lot of kind of brain power.
Well, I would say they're thinky, but I can do it with 1 cup of coffee that I'm working on. So it's not like, obviously if I've had more than 1 cup, maybe have more points.
We go back and check the morning scores versus the night scores.
Yeah, we really should. That'd be interesting to see what that is.
So, and in the back of the book, there is a very makes you feel pretty bad. It's the back of the book. Makes you feel pretty bad scale of if you got this score, you got this.
Yeah, so, and I think the highest I've ever gotten is like 250 or something like that.
Yeah, we're usually in the that was pretty good range.
Yeah,
it goes all the way from I've gotten try harder a few times. It goes all the way from try harder to you're so clever, but I don't know that I've gotten into the hats off to you or what. Definitely not the what a genius.
No, I've gotten the what a genius. I have gotten that before. But
apparently,
that was a solo
you're
game.
So clever is more than are you Einstein.
So apparently you just want to be clever and not Einstein. All right, our next game
is Terra from Inside the Box Games.
This is a 1 to 6 player game. Jared's played 1 player and he really likes it. We love this at 2 players.
Yep. And so what you're doing is you're exploring a cave. You start out with a bunch of face down tiles, and the exit to the cave is at the bottom of those tiles. You're explorers who have fallen.
It's the last.
It's in one of the last 6 tiles,
or something.
5 or 6. But you were explorers who have fallen into, like there was a collapse, you've fallen into a cave, you're trying to get out of the cave before the monsters in the cave get you. Or
each character has special abilities that you can do. You can either move an extra time or you can help people if they've passed out. And you don't die, you pass out.
Yes. And there is not, but if you lose, then everyone passes out indefinitely. In a cave filled with monsters. You're always asleep.
Yeah, in a cave filled of horrors.
Horrors. But
it was so funny. Yeah. Hold on. Aside really quick. When the boys were telling how to play this game, at one point they were talking about horrors, and it's really weird to hear your son, little 7-year-old, talk about horrors, and you're like, just enunciate the last horror.
When they say the horrors are going to get me, so.
It is a family-friendly game.
Yes.
I wish they would have just said monsters.
So. It is 1 to 6 players. At 2 players, everyone plays 2 characters. Yeah. So it doesn't really, as far as there's fewer opinions when you're playing with 2 players, but as far as functionally, it does play pretty similar at 2 players to 4 players. Because it is cooperative. Yes, it's cooperative. You're working on, and it does such a great job of creating that tension because
that thrill of exploring.
What you do is you decide if you're going to flip over a tile. And then you can use another action to move into it, or you can use one action to flip over and immediately move into it, but you may move into a trap or water. You may fall off a little edge of a cliff thing where you get stuck down there.
Or it could be a cave collapse or it flood or tremors, or it could be a horror.
So, and we did, you kind of, the last game we played, we we all stuck together because we were figured we're getting pretty close to getting out of the cave, so let's all just hang together. We worked our way down. And again, you flip over a tile, and that reveals the next part of the cave, and it has to go next to where you are. So you're creating a path that you're going down. And we worked our way into a dead end that was too far away from anything because we got a bunch of straight segments, no T's, nothing, no way to get back. Got a bunch of straight segments that dead ended, and there were not enough moves to get back out. So it really...
Our flashlight had busted. That's like you've got... You have a time limit basically on just the cards. At the very end of those cards, the flashlight busts, and you have... What happens?
You go until there's a... It's called a skills check. You roll a...
That's right.
You roll a six-sided dice, and if you get a 4, 5, or a 6, you get to keep going. If you get 3 or below, then you're done or you lose the skills check, which comes into play a lot of times. But at the end of the game, you keep going. No, you keep going until you fail a skill check. So there's a lot of tension there when your flashlight is busted and you're trying to get to the end. And it's like, again, this game... We've
actually never won completely ever coming out.
Yeah, she left me.
No.
Multiple times.
He was leaving me at one point, and I was like, "You're just gonna leave me?" I was like passed out in the middle of the cave, and he was like, "I'm out." And I was like,
"I can't get back to you."
I talked him into rescuing me. He found a way to do it,
and
I got out.
Died.
No, I got out, but then you died.
Yeah. So
so we still lost because we didn't all get out. But it was just, I thought it was kind of funny because I convinced you. Like, I just was totally pulled the, I can't believe you're doing this card. And then he died. I got out.
It happens. Yeah. But Subterra.
Something that they don't or just announce enough with this game is play this with a black. They don't announce
anywhere.
Play it with a black light.
It has UV coatings on certain parts of it, so parts of it glow under a black light.
Yeah. We have the black light. We've not played with it yet. Yes. Because everywhere we've taken this... we've taken it to Airbnb and stuff like that. We've played it, and it was like, don't really want to switch out light bulbs. Yeah. But very fun game. Highly recommend it. Like I said, we like it at a 2-player. And we play. I have 2 players. I play one. He plays one. I play my next one. He plays his next one.
Yes, you go back and forth. You take turns between the players as if there were 4. Yeah, great game. Super tense. We don't play a lot of like scary thriller scary games. So there may be other games that do this well too. I'm sure there are, but Subterra does it really well. Just that
it's like
tension.
A tame thriller.
Yes, that tension of, again, it's not scary. There's the horrors are just little.
It's a claw mark.
Yeah, it's claw marks. It's just little tokens, but it just that tension of, I need to get out of the cave. Am I gonna hit a dead end soon? Am I gonna get out? What's around the corner? Just that. It feels tense and it's so fun.
Yeah, we
so
really
definitely recommend that. Again, whether you have 2 players or 6, it's a really fun game.
And Jared likes it as 1 player. Our next one is strictly 2-player though, and this is you're about to dump the box.
7 Wonders Duel, great game.
Yep. We actually have never played 7 Wonders. We recently got it into our collection. We picked it up while we were out of town last week.
We found it at a Goodwill for $3 still in the shrink
never
wrap.
Been popped or anything.
So we'll play that soon. But 7 Wonders Duel, it's exclusively 2 players.
These are all the awards it's gotten. It gets those awards because it's worth having in your collection. It's a great game. We love playing it.
It plays over 3 rounds. Each round you put out different cards, some face up, some face down on the table that you get to build your civilization and try and get the most points at the end of the game. It is a really good, it's one of those games you don't really know who's going to win until the end of the game.
There's so many different ways and strategies to win. You can do it with the technology. You can do it with the war, like the
lots of victory points you can get.
Points and money. Most of the time when I win, it's because I strategically make sure I have enough money.
Yeah, and she wins most of the time at this game. So, but really good, exclusively 2-player game. It does have a little bit bigger footprint. Same with Subterra. Subterra takes up a lot of table space just because
it starts small,
but you're really exploring. Small. Yes, but you're exploring the cave. 7 Wonders Duel also has a decent footprint to it just because you have to put all the cards out on the table and then each player has their own tableau that they're building.
Right. You could do it on a coffee table, but it just
probably not. You'd knock stuff off. It would be.
Yeah, it'd be frustrating more than fun. So we play this on our kitchen table or game table.
Yep.
So, really, really like this game. The art's awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like scared of what's going on inside at the moment. Yep, that's chaotic. We're just gonna set this aside.
Doesn't store well on its side.
On its side. And I just opened it and I let the cat. Okay, there we go. We're just gonna sit there right there.
Okay. Speaking of cats.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
Calico.
I love this game. A friend sent this to me for my birthday last year. Thank you, Justin, because he knew how much I love quilts and cats.
You're building quilts. You're quilting quilts.
You're quilting.
To attract cats to come nap on your quilt.
Mm-hmm.
It is so peaceful. It is so...
This is not a game that I would think he would like.
But it's puzzly. I like puzzly
He
games.
loves puzzles and that type of... And this is definitely a puzzle.
Yes. You're trying to do different things with your quilt tiles in order to build a quilt that meets different criteria to get cats to come to score points for different patterns that you get.
Mm-hmm.
So it is so much fun. It is just... It's very peaceful. There's not a lot of direct head-to-head interaction. You can take a tile that someone else might need, but other than that, you're pretty much building your own...
Because you're drafting tiles from a draft pool.
Yes. So, but other than that, you're building your own quilt. There's no take that stuff to it. You're not really directly interacting.
There's so many different variations to it as well. The replayability in this game is really crazy because... even if you didn't have all the different cats, even just having those specific tiles where it's like, I need to get, you can get color, pattern, or both?
Yeah.
What is it? The C. It's A, B, and C.
Oh, they're just there's different,
things.
you get points for either having, like you put different tiles on your quilt board at the beginning of the game. Yeah. To tell you what you're trying to do, whether you're trying to get a tile, one of each color around that tile, or two of one, three of another, one of each color pattern, things like that. So you're trying to strategically draft tiles that will let you meet those criteria.
Mm-hmm. And those are different each time depending on how you just put them on your quilt, because you only put 3 of those and I believe there's 5 different options.
Yeah.
And then you got all the different cats that require different things, and there's a story for each cat. Each cat is like a real cat.
They're not like a real cat. They are real cats.
They are real cats, and they all have names. So yeah, I really, really enjoy this game. This is another one of those games that I win, so I really, really like it. But even if I didn't win, it's one of those that it's the peaceful. Yeah. It's just so peaceful.
Again, another one of those. It's so easy to talk through, have a conversation while you're playing, because it's just draft a tile, put it where you want it. That's your turn.
I was going to say the footprint is relatively small because you just have your board, but you actually, there's, because you've got all the different buttons and you've got the different cats that you can, that you want them all laid out so that when you have that on your quilt, you can pull and put them on your quilt. So actually the table footprint
it wouldn't be a coffee shop game probably, but it's a good kitchen table game.
Yeah, really. I'm going to reorganize these a little bit.
And our last game is On the Rocks from 25th Century and Pentry Games.
This is such a great game, you guys.
We've only played this at 2 players, so we have no idea how it plays at 3 to 4, but I like, basically with this, you're a bartender trying to make drinks on your little drink board. You can kind of see
they're upside down.
You're trying to make drinks on your drink board by drafting marbles and putting those marbles in the right place to complete the recipe.
First of all, any game with marbles is automatically like bumps it up a notch.
What I really like about it at 2 players is you roll dice to see how many marbles you're going to blindly draw out of a bag, and then you put those into these little bowls that I'm losing the name of.
I can't remember either.
Anyway.
Not Demitas. It's something else.
Anyway, you're putting the marbles in, and there are bad marbles and there's good marbles. There's spill marbles that cause you to spill a drink. You have to draw a spill card, and it negatively affects you.
Jigger bowls.
So the little jigger bowls. So
I cheated. I looked.
So with 2 players, you can strategically, if you draw those spill marbles, you can kind of look at the other players, see what they're going to need. You can do that
other players too.
You can, but I just like that back and forth of trying to initiate those negative consequences without being super mean, but you can kind of, I know that Allison's probably going to take this bowl because I can see what she needs, so I'm going to put the spill in that one. So there's just a little, again, sometimes that's easier when there's just one other player than when there's 3 people that you're trying to figure out who's getting ahead. So it's really easy to manage it 2 players, to manage interacting or keeping an eye on the other players versus just yourself, where I think with 3 or 4 players, you're going to be focused on what you're doing and have a harder time keeping up with the rest of the table.
Yeah.
So it plays fantastic at 2 players.
I just noticed it's 1 to 4 players. I'm going to have to try this at 1. I didn't even know you could play it at 1 player.
So, and again, I'm sure it's great at 3 and 4 players. We've only played it at 2 and have really enjoyed it.
And it is about making drinks, alcoholic drinks. There's obviously no alcohol, and it doesn't even say that anywhere in the game. So I was like, well, no, we're not going to play with our boys. Yeah. But honestly, there's no
reason you couldn't.
The thinkiness of this is perfect for our boys. They would just love it.
Yeah, there's no consumption in it. There's no you're just making drink recipes.
It says 14 up, but I think it's great either way. We just need to try it with the boys. I think they'd love it.
Yep. So these are our 6, and technically...
Is it 6? I guess it is.
It's 6. The Railroad Inks all count as 1. The Clever Games all count as 1.
Yeah.
These are our 6 favorite date games as of July 2021. I'm sure we will replace some of these as time goes on. We will play other things that we love. Mm-hmm. We're always doing that, always refining this list. But for right now, these are our 6 go-to kind of favorite 2-player games that we will play on a date night at home, or especially these we'll take with us to a coffee shop or something like that.
We'll take these anywhere, yeah. And again, these are we love a ton of other games to play together, but the date night game specifically is what we can talk through and enjoy and actually look at each other while we're playing the game versus, hold on, I have to think through this. So.
And other than 7 Wonders, not so competitive that you're getting mad. I don't know. You've gotten pretty upset with me during On the Rocks a couple times.
Even though I've won.
She wins most of those games, but still gets upset with me.
And it's not that I'm upset with you.
No, I'm the one that pieces are getting flicked at.
That's true. But I'm more frustrated that I either miss something or I get frustrated myself and you're just across the table.
Games are great for your relationship and building camaraderie. Check out all of these games. We'll leave links below to where you can find them. While you're down there, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
And we have a couple more videos right over here that you can check out. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.